What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and I will start off by saying this episode is somewhat of a failure. Something went wrong. It didn't go wrong till the very end, but if you saw my Instagram post, and you can find me on Instagram as Snowman Custom Rodworks _ between each word, this doesn't go right. So out of it, you can get a free winding check. So drop a comment below if you do need a winding check. I'll give you this one. There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't work for what I see happening. And that's what this episode is going to get into, is one, making of a winding check, and two, this is getting into the custom side of what I like to do, in which maybe I'm off by 0.03 of an inch and the perspective looks wrong to me. I'm looking for ideal numbers here. So what you're gonna see is I'm gonna start to make a winding check. The whole episode's pretty good until it's not good, which is at the very end. So I will not see you again this episode, so enjoy the episode. Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing to the channel if you're not. If you are, thank you. Yeah, let's make a winding check. So let's jump straight into it. The material being used is going to be Durance, which is what the rest of the material is that I've been using. The work holding that I'll be using is going to be 5C collets. My lathe is set up for 5C. It's got a collet head on it already. And then a couple basic 60-degree points, nothing special there. I will be using a circular carbide insert. I use this for finishing passes, get all my tool marks out, make it look smooth. And I also use this because I'm going to be running a radius front edge on this winding check, so I need that as well. The other two things that I'm going to need is I'm going to need this small bore. And this small bore is just going to be for me to get the ID of it right, so I can get the winding check to fit to the blank. And a parting tool. This is just simple HSS. Nothing real special about this. I like HSS because I can adjust it for length. The other thing that I could do with HSS is I could resharpen it in a moment's notice. If I want a left-handed cut or a right-handed cut, I could change it out very quickly. And they're cheap, which is nice. Here is the thing that everybody gets confused on, and I get a lot of comments on it every time somebody sees it posted. This is in fact a mill grain wheel. These are designed for jewelry making more so than they're designed for machining. And these are what I use to set my knurl. So yeah, in a way they're a knurling wheel, but with their size, this one is 1.2 millimeter. People think they are knurling wheels. So I brought a knurling wheel over. It's already in a block. And this is a knurling wheel versus a mill grain wheel. And you can see quite a bit of size difference between these two. So they accomplish the same thing, but the big difference is this is primarily used in jewelry making. This is primarily what you would see in machining in some various form. The other thing that I figured I would do is I brought over, this is going to be my medium lathe, so it's a 12 by 36. Here is the difference between the lathe that you've seen for probably the last 2 episodes when we were working on my Yomogi, is this tool block. This is the tool block that goes in my medium lathe. So there's quite a size difference between the two, and one's a 7-swing lathe, this is a 12-swing gap bed. Lot bigger lathe. But if you notice, I still run small tooling because most everything that I do is set up small. So that's why I use small tooling. It's a little bit easier. I can work everything into a sharper edge, fun stuff like that. I don't want to waste any more time on this. I'm going to get set up in a lathe and I'm going to kind of rough bore it, and then we'll pick it up at the boring process. So I'm going to see you on the lathe after I get everything set up. So I ended up taking a quick pass, and I'm running at 336 right now. You can kind of hear it popping. So the gauge pin is fitted for 336. I need to get this down, well, I need to get us up to 343. So 6 thou out. So I'm just gonna set my DRO for 0.006. Now, I'll get close, but I won't get all the way there because I want one finishing pass. Now I'm going to take a finishing pass. I'm going to drop my speed in half on my feed rate, and I'll take it right up to my finishing number. And I should be done. Let's see. Not quite. So that's fitted. Now I can start on my OD. So I'm going to switch to a 60. So I just got to get my OD number first. So I just need a scratch pass so I can get a decent measure. So that'll be my initial starting pass. And I need my mic, which I'm 560. So generally my wall on my winding check is like 60. So 60, 120, 343. 463, I'll call it 465. So I gotta go down a tenth. So I'm gonna wind my DRO in. back to 0. Well, I'm going to wind the compound in. Back to 0. And then all I'm going to do is get close. So that's my last roughing pass. So now I'm going to come in with the radius tooling. I'm going to make another scratch pass. And then I'll get my numbers again. I'll go. So I'm off by 3 thou. So I won't even set my DRO up for that number. I'm just gonna go 3 thou on the scale. And I am gonna run coolant. So I am into my OD now. I'm going to set my front taper, which is quick. And this is where I get into more of a feel thing. I have some rough numbers that I know I have to live with and I want to work with, but now I'm to the point where I started looking for what feels best, what thread diameters I'm going to run. So I'm just going to hit it until I feel it looks the way I want it. So I could show you what went wrong now, and it's not something big. If I had to buy a winding check and I had to put a rod together, I think I'd be fine. But since I'm building this, it got funky, and as soon as I slipped it on the rod, I'm like, wow, That's not right. So what happened was I had assumed some numbers, and I'll show you a close-up after the fact. This actually looks a bit meaty for this rod. Knurl looks good. You'll see the knurl in the next episode when I do it right. But the other thing is it's thick. Get you in focus, and you'll see it's thick. That leading edge is thick, and that doesn't work for me. This edge right up here, get you to focus back on that. There we go. That edge is thick. I mean, that edge is thick enough for an epoxy rod with size A, basically a mop rod. And that's not what I'm going for with any build, so I need to come in and remake this. The other aspect is it's a little long for a rod that's this diminutive. I like 3 weights, especially delicate blue line rods. I like everything to be small, tight. I like a little bit more in the hardware. I like the winding check to flow. And yeah. No. So this doesn't work. Episode 5 will be picking this up with getting my dimensions right. So yeah, if you need a 343 winding check, drop a comment below and you can have this one. I'll blue it for you and it's all yours. See you again soon.